Marcus Thompson checked his ticket one more time. Section 214, Row F, Seat 8, SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles. August 15, 2024. Justin Bieber's comeback concert after 2 years. But what Marcus was about to witness wasn't just a concert. It was something that would make 80,000 people gasp in unison. Let me tell you what happened. Marcus had saved for 8 months to afford this ticket. $450. He was a high school teacher from Compton, single income, 3 kids. But he loved Justin's music. It got him through his divorce, through his mother's death, through everything. That morning, Marcus had woken up at 5 a.m. Too excited to sleep. He'd ironed his vintage Bieber shirt from the 2016 Purpose Tour, made breakfast for his kids, dropped them at his sister's house. The drive to Inglewood took 47 minutes. Traffic was insane. Marcus parked in Lot C, $60 for parking. He walked toward the stadium entrance, and that's when he met Ms. Chen. She was struggling. Her wheelchair had gotten stuck on a crack in the pavement. People were walking past her, nobody stopping. Marcus ran over, helped her. They started talking. Ms. Chen had been a Bieber fan since 2009. She had tickets to 14 of his concerts over the years. This was number 15, her favorite number. Marcus offered to help her get to her seat. Turned out she was in section 214-2, row E, right in front of him. They arrived at the accessible entrance at 6:30 p.m. Doors were supposed to open at 7 p.m. But something was wrong. Security guards were blocking the ramp. Miss Chen asked what was happening. A guard told her to wait. VIP guests were using this entrance. She'd have to use the main entrance instead. But the main entrance had stairs. Lots of stairs. Ms. Chen couldn't use stairs. Marcus watched her face fall. She'd been coming to this stadium for years, always used the accessible ramp, but tonight was different. Other wheelchair users started arriving. A veteran named James, with prosthetic legs, a teenage girl named Sophia with cerebral palsy, an elderly man named Robert with a walker. All told the same thing: wait, be patient. The temperature was brutal, 94 degrees, the sun beating down on the concrete, no shade, no water stations nearby. Ms. Chen's face was getting red, sweating. Marcus got worried. He tried talking to security again. The guard was apologetic but firm. Orders from above. VIP entrance protocol. Nothing he could do. Marcus pulled out his phone, started filming. Not for social media, for evidence, in case something happened to Ms. Chen. By 7:30 p.m., there were 23 people waiting at the accessible entrance. Some had been there over an hour. One woman fainted. Medics came. She missed the opening act entirely. The stadium was packed. 80,000 people. The energy was insane. Lights dimmed at 8:47 p.m. The crowd went absolutely wild. But Justin didn't come out. 8:50 p.m. Still nothing. 8:55 p.m. People started getting confused. 9 p.m. The crowd was getting restless. Some people were booing. Marcus noticed security guards running around backstage. Something was wrong. Then, at 9:12 p.m., a screen lit up. Justin appeared on video. He was backstage, still in his regular clothes, not his performance outfit, and he looked angry. Justin's face on that massive screen was serious, really serious. He started speaking. The stadium went completely silent. Justin said he wasn't going to perform. Not yet. Not until something was fixed. 80,000 people were confused. What was happening? Justin explained. 20 minutes ago, he was doing his pre-show walk around the venue. He does this before every concert, checks the sound, checks the vibe, talks to crew members. It's a ritual he's had since 2015. And he saw something that made him stop everything. Section 214. The accessible seating area, where people with disabilities sit. Where Marcus was sitting because he'd been helping Ms. Chen get to her seat. She was 67 years old, paralyzed from the waist down. Justin had watched security guards blocking the accessible entrance, making people in wheelchairs wait outside in the heat, 94 degrees, for over an hour. Why? Because the regular entrance was crowded and security decided to use the accessible ramp for VIP guests instead, to skip the lines. Disabled fans were being told to wait, to be patient, that they'd get in eventually. Ms. Chen had been waiting for 73 minutes, in her wheelchair, in the heat. She'd almost passed out. Marcus had given her his water bottle, his hat for shade, but it wasn't enough. Justin saw this, and he lost it. He went straight to the head of security, demanded they open the accessible entrance immediately. The security director said it would cause confusion. that VIPs were already using that route, that they'd get the wheelchair users in soon. Justin's response was simple: no accessible entrance, no show. The security director thought he was bluffing, told him the show was already 30 minutes behind schedule, that 80,000 people were waiting. Justin didn't care. He walked away and went straight to his dressing room. Told his entire team, no compromises, not tonight, not ever. The stadium was dead silent as people processed this. Justin was refusing to perform, risking everything, for people most of the crowd hadn't even noticed. On the screen, Justin's voice was shaking. Not from fear, from anger, from emotion. He talked about his own experience. Years ago, 2011, his grandmother Diane had come to his show in Toronto. She used a walker, had severe arthritis. The venue staff made her go through the regular entrance. No accommodation, no help. She fell on the stairs, broke her hip. Justin was on stage performing when it happened. He didn't find out until after the show. Ran to the hospital still in his stage clothes. Held her hand while doctors worked. Diane recovered, but she never went to another concert. Too scared, too traumatized. Justin never forgot that. Never forgave himself for not checking on her accessibility beforehand. And now, 13 years later, he was watching it happen again, at his own concert, to his own fans. The screen went dark. Stadium lights came on. Everyone was looking around, confused, worried. Some people were checking their phones to see if this was real. Marcus looked at Ms. Chen next to him. She was crying. Quietly. Not from frustration about the wait, but because someone noticed, someone cared. 5 minutes passed. The stadium was buzzing with confused conversation. People on Twitter were going crazy. Hashtags started trending. Then something happened that nobody expected. The entire security team walked onto the stage, all of them, maybe 50 people in yellow security vests. The head of security took a microphone. His voice was shaking. This was live, in front of 80,000 people, being recorded by thousands of phones. He apologized, directly, to every person with a disability in that stadium, to every wheelchair user who'd been made to wait, to every person who'd been treated as less important than a VIP. He announced that, effective immediately, the accessible entrance was open, that any fan who'd been delayed would receive a full refund plus tickets to another show, that he personally was going to review every accessibility protocol at SoFi Stadium. And then he did something that made 80,000 people's jaws drop. He resigned. Right there. On stage, live. He said he'd been in security for 22 years, worked at dozens of venues, and he'd failed at the most basic part of his job. Making people safe, making people welcome. The stadium erupted, not in applause, in shock, in gasps, in absolute disbelief. Marcus couldn't believe what he was watching. A man had just quit his job, on stage, in front of 80,000 people, because Justin Bieber refused to perform. But it wasn't over. 2 minutes later, Justin walked onto that stage, still not in his performance outfit, just regular clothes, sneakers, t-shirt, hat. He went straight to section 214, to the accessible seating, climbed over barriers. Security tried to stop him, but he waved them off. Justin personally greeted every single person in that section, every wheelchair user, every person with a disability, every caregiver, every family member. He got to Ms. Chen. Marcus watched as Justin knelt down next to her wheelchair. The big screen showed the whole thing. Justin held her hand. She was sobbing, really sobbing. The entire stadium was watching in complete silence. Justin spent 17 minutes in that section. 17 full minutes. 80,000 people just watching, waiting, not complaining, not booing, just witnessing something real. When Justin finally walked back to the stage, something had changed. The energy was different. This wasn't just a concert anymore. This was a moment. Justin grabbed the mic. His voice was rough, emotional. He thanked everyone for waiting, for understanding, for caring about what actually matters. And then he said something that went viral within hours. He said that entertainment means nothing if people aren't treated with dignity. That fame means nothing if you ignore suffering. That a concert isn't worth having if people are hurt just to make it happen. The stadium exploded. 80,000 people on their feet, screaming, crying, not because of a song, because of humanity. The concert started at 9:47 p.m., 1 hour late, and it was the best show Justin had ever performed. But here's where the story gets even more incredible. Marcus posted a video on TikTok that night. Just him talking about what he witnessed. No fancy editing, just truth. He filmed it in his car after the show. Still processing everything. 3 million views in 12 hours. 15 million in 24 hours. Major news outlets picked it up. CNN, BBC, The Guardian, Rolling Stone, everyone. But the real impact started 3 days later. Other fans came forward, with their own stories, their own experiences. A mother from Dallas, her autistic son had been denied entry to a Justin concert in 2019 because his noise-canceling headphones looked suspicious. Security made him take them off. He had a meltdown. They missed the entire show. Justin personally called that family, apologized, sent them front-row tickets to his next Dallas show. A deaf fan from Chicago. She'd been told she couldn't bring her sign language interpreter to a 2020 show. Fire code violations, they said. Justin found out, and now every single one of his shows has a designated ASL interpreter on stage. The stories kept coming. Dozens, then hundreds. And here's what nobody expected. Justin didn't just fix his own shows. He started a foundation, the Accessible Entertainment Initiative, AEI, goal. Make every concert venue in America fully accessible within 5 years. He donated $10 million to start. His own money, not label money, not sponsorships, his own bank account. Within 2 weeks, other artists joined. Ariana Grande donated $2 million. Drake donated $3 million. Taylor Swift donated $5 million. The list kept growing. Venue owners started calling Justin's team, asking for accessibility audits, wanting to do better. 6 months later, December 2024, AEI announced results. 127 venues had been audited. 89 had made immediate changes, accessible entrances, better seating, trained staff, proper equipment. The security director who resigned. His name was David Martinez. He became AEI's head of training, teaching other security teams how to properly assist fans with disabilities. Turned his biggest mistake into his purpose. And Ms. Chen? She became the face of the campaign. Justin featured her in a documentary about accessible entertainment. She spoke at conferences, shared her story. March 2025. The 1-year anniversary of that concert. SoFi Stadium held a special event, a free concert for people with disabilities and their families. 20,000 people attended. Justin performed for free. 2 hours. Every accessibility accommodation possible. Sign language interpreters, sensory-friendly areas, medical staff on standby. Marcus was there again, teaching now at a school for students with disabilities. He brought his entire class, 15 kids, all with different disabilities, all huge music fans. During the concert, Justin brought Ms. Chen on stage. The crowd went absolutely wild. She spoke about that night, about waiting in the heat, about feeling invisible, about Justin noticing when nobody else did. And then she said something that made everyone cry. She said that night taught her something, that one person refusing to accept injustice can change everything. That fame is worthless unless you use it for good. That disability isn't the problem. Inaccessibility is. The stadium erupted in applause that lasted 5 full minutes. Today, the Accessible Entertainment Initiative has changed 847 venues across North America. Thousands of fans with disabilities can now attend concerts safely, comfortably, with dignity, all because one artist refused to perform until it was fixed. That night at SoFi Stadium became legendary, not for the music, for the message. 80,000 people gasped when they realized what was happening. Millions more gasped when they heard the story. But the real gasp, that came when people realized how many venues had been inaccessible all along, how many fans had been ignored, how much needed to change. Justin Bieber didn't just cancel a show that night. He started a movement, and it all began with a simple refusal, a line in the sand, a moment when someone with power used it for someone without it. Marcus still has his ticket from that night. Section 214, Row F, Seat 8, framed on his classroom wall. His students ask about it constantly, and every time, Marcus tells them the same thing. One voice can matter, one choice can change everything, one person caring can inspire millions. That's what happened on August 15, 2024, when 80,000 people learned what really matters, and the world gasped.